What's going on, film fanatics, and welcome to Top 10 Beyond the Screen. I'm your host, Johnny Rogers, and if you happen to be new here, we cover all things television, movies, and anything beyond the screen. So tap that subscribe button to join our notification squad, and make sure you stay all the way to the end because you won't believe our #1 spot. Plus, to be featured next time, make sure to leave us a comment down below with what your favorite prison movie is, and while you ponder that, let's get right into today's list, the top 10 celebrities that should be in jail. In at number 10, Alec Baldwin. It's a well-known fact that actor Alec Baldwin has gotten himself into trouble several times after interactions with the paparazzi. There's no doubt that these creepy photographers do invade the personal space of celebrities, but that being said, violence has never made them leave you alone. Baldwin has been at the center of several cases where he was accused and literally photographed physically attacking photographers. The first accusation was in 1995 when he reportedly punched a paparazzi so hard that he broke the man's nose. However, in all of these incidents, Baldwin has never been charged. Even when face to face with a judge after he was belligerent to police officers, the judge let him off with a slap on the wrist. No charges, not even a fine. Just Judge John Delury asking Baldwin to behave for 6 months despite his inability to even apologize for his actions. In at number 9, Britney Spears. The mid-2000s were certainly not kind to pop sensation Britney Spears. From a bitter divorce to having a very public meltdown, it was only a matter of time before she had her run-in with the law. In 2006, she was driving with her 4-month-old son on her lap when the police pulled her over, which is very illegal, yet because she's Britney Spears, there wasn't even a fine. Then just a year later, she was charged with a hit and run while also driving without a license. Initially, she was looking at a year in prison for this, but again, she ended up not even spending a minute behind bars. It's a wonder how she was even able to pull herself out of this downward spiral, but what's really concerning is how she managed to escape the law this many times. Fame should definitely not exclude you from the repercussions of doing something illegal. And Britney Spears has done a lot. In at number 8, Justin Bieber. Bieber has certainly matured since his early spats with the law, although that being said, we still think that he should be serving time in jail. On January 23, 2014, Justin Bieber was arrested by Miami Beach police for a DUI, resisting arrest, and drag racing. Thanks to a lenient plea agreement, he only had to take anger management classes and make a donation to charity. Later on in June of the same year, he broke the law again though. This time while in Canada, he was found guilty of assault and careless driving, but was only given a fine of $600 US, and the assault charge was dismissed. I'm sorry, but if you find him guilty of assaulting someone, then you must have had some decent evidence that a punch was thrown. However, because he's Justin Bieber in his home country, they just dismissed it. In at number 7, Paris Hilton. The heir of the Hilton hotels quite literally invented the idea of what an influencer is. She would routinely tell the paparazzi where she would be going out that night so that her photos would be plastered on every tabloid the following day. In 2007, she was sentenced to 45 days in prison after she violated her probation for reckless driving, for which she didn't even have to serve half of before going home. A few years later in 2010, Paris was involved in a hit and run that she, for whatever reason, avoided more jail time for. Then not even a couple months later, she was found guilty for drug possession and obstructing an officer. So with multiple run-ins with the law, Paris has never really had to face the true sentence of her crimes. In at number 6, Jay-Z. Sean Carter has never had a good relationship with the law enforcement, and for good reason. Being black in America certainly put him at a disadvantage growing up, which would fuel his rise to success in the entertainment world. In 2001 though, he saw just how powerful money and fame could truly be. While at an album release party, Jay-Z bumped into a rival record executive, Lance Rivera. The two ended up getting into a heated argument, with Carter accusing Rivera of bootlegging his Volume 3 Life and Times of S. Carter. Then, without warning, Jay-Z stabbed Rivera twice with a 5-inch blade. His punishment for this assault with a deadly weapon was a measly 3 years probation. He also allegedly paid Rivera $600,000 to either disappear at the time of the trial or testify in a way that would help his case. Had he not been able to swing this bribe, Sean Carter would have faced up to 15 years in jail. In at number 5, Charlie Sheen. When he's not winning or drinking Tiger Blood, Charlie Sheen is getting himself into some real trouble. In 2008, he was already on probation for a drug offense when he overdosed again, thus extending that probation. Then on Christmas Day in 2009, he was arrested for assaulting his wife. For this, Charlie was charged with second-degree crimes of assault and menacing, which can carry a 12-month prison sentence. Although after paying a bond of $8,500, he walked free. And as part of a plea bargain for the other criminal mischief charges, his lawyer worked out a sentence of 30 days in rehab and 36 hours of anger management that he later turned into a show, which is also a far cry from that year-long jail sentence that they initially said. In at number 4, Mel Gibson. Nobody is deserving of more jail time than this guy right here. In 2006, he was arrested for drunk driving and speeding with an open container of alcohol. The officer also cited in his report that Gibson was spewing racial slurs at the officer while being questioned. This would be the actor's second DUI, for which he was only sentenced to 3 years probation, 1 year of alcohol abuse treatment, a fine, and a 90-day probation from driving. Additionally, in 2009, when his probation was up, the judge ruled that this conviction should be removed from his record. Not even 2 years later, Gibson was back in court where he would plead no contest to one misdemeanor count of domestic battery committed against his girlfriend at the time. Amongst these facts, sprinkled in with every other crazy thing that he's done, this actor should definitely still be in jail. In at number 3, Jussie Smollett. The former star of Empire, Jussie Smollett, got himself into some real trouble with Chicago police after he faked a racial attack on himself. At midnight on January 29, 2019, Smollett said that he was attacked on a Chicago street outside of his hotel. According to the report, he told police that 2 white men in ski masks yelled racist and homophobic slurs at him as they tied a rope around his neck, poured bleach on him, and yelled, "This is MAGA country." Now, these are serious allegations, and the entire internet was furious, with many calling it a modern-day lynching. And later on, investigators would find 2 potential suspects. Although the brothers, who were initially suspects, told investigators that Mr. Smollett had coordinated a fake attack and paid them to participate in it, an account that they actually had receipts for, funny enough. And it's a far stretch too from the 2 white MAGA hat wearing men that Jussie had described. Although even though he filed a false police report and then lied under oath, Jussie skated by without any criminal charges. This is still a developing case as well, but we're assuming the Chicago PD isn't going to let him get away with this. Jussie was recently indicted on 6 new charges which allege that the actor planned and participated in the staging of a hate crime against himself. In at number 2, Chris Brown. Chris Brown was lucky that he could build his following early on before engaging in this nefarious behavior. If he wasn't so talented, would his fans still turn a blind eye every time that he did something messed up? I mean, seriously, like if this guy wasn't famous, he'd be in jail for a long time by now. In 2009, he flipped out following an argument with his then girlfriend Rihanna and chose to physically assault her. The image of Rihanna's bruised face was plastered all over the internet, yet still, he did not go to jail. Then in 2013, he and his bodyguard were charged with felony assault for beating someone up, but when they showed up to court, their sentence was reduced to just a misdemeanor. The only time that he's done is 36 hours in jail for beating someone up, and his probation for beating up Rihanna. That, by all accounts, should have been a felony domestic violence conviction with real jail time behind it. Instead, he was only required to check in with his probation officer and serve 1,000 hours of community service. Last but not least, in our number 1 spot, Caitlyn Jenner.
The Sheriff's Department told ET that Jenner could be charged with misdemeanor vehicular manslaughter.
It seems like the worst case scenario, you could spend a year in a county jail. Have you been able to?
Caitlyn oddly laughing off a very serious crimes that she was faced with, claiming that it's what the media would love. Sure, but also if you kill someone with your car, then you can't blame the media for saying that you look guilty. And while Jenner was driving, let's say, inattentively, she slammed into the back of a Lexus, sending the car into oncoming traffic. Within moments, a Hummer collided with the Lexus, killing the driver as a result. According to the district attorney's report, they could not prove that Jenner's conduct was unreasonable, and therefore the case was thrown out. The authorities then shifted the blame to the victim, Kim Howe, who obviously could not defend herself. They claimed that she had rear-ended another car first, and that Caitlyn's collision was a result of Kim's poor driving. Yeah, that's a big no. Now, Kim Howe's family has ended up suing Caitlyn Jenner, claiming that her negligence was indeed to blame. And that has been the top 10 celebrities that should be in jail. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, then show us some love here by tapping that like and subscribe button. Also, make sure you give us a follow on Instagram for tons of behind-the-scenes content. Links for that will be in the description below. And while you're there, why don't you leave us a comment with your thoughts on this list. Plus, for more videos like this one, all you gotta do is tap that playlist when it comes up on the screen. From Top 10 Beyond the Screen, my name is Johnny Rogers, saying until next time, stay classy. I almost wanted to say Jussie Smollett. Jussie Smollett.
Is this what Chappelle?
Yeah, that's what Chappelle called him, and everyone's like, who is he talking about? You know, the guy from Empire. Jussie Smollett. At midnight on racist?
Yeah, racist.
Sounds like something Clint Eastwood just like, call me a racist. But then he showed up to court. But when they showed up to court. Stay out of the jail. Was found guilty for drug possession and